Greetings ladies and gentlemen, Adrian here. Welcome back to the channel and to MMO report cards for a couple of games that I've been playing heavily this year with regards to MMORPGs. These are my daily drivers, which simply means the games I've played the most and have covered the most here on my channel for the entirety of 2018. So what I'll be doing is going through some of the highlights for each of these games and sharing some thoughts about how well the game has performed overall this calendar year. At the end of the video, feel free to share your thoughts and what were your highlights if these two are your heavily played games as well. So beginning with the Elder Scrolls Online, it's safe to say ESO has had a pretty damn good 2018. This calendar year, ESO released 3 DLCs and 1 chapter, which is the game's version of a story expansion, and plenty of game improvements and tweaks in between. Starting with Update 17, Dragon Bones. This came out in February this year. It brought 2 new dungeons, Fang Lair and Skull Killer Peak, 2 new battlegrounds, more Khazgar and the Deeping Drome, and the update also included system updates like a brand new outfit system, which is great, and a level up advisor for new players either to the MMORPG genre or to ESO. The 2 dungeons that came with this update was pretty fun, aesthetically awesome to look at because, hey, dragons, you do get a bit of Skyrim flashbacks from playing through some of these. And for me, the highlight of Update 17 has to be the outfit system, as character customization for cosmetics has been long time coming to ESO, where other MMORPGs have included it somewhat as part of the base game whenever those games launched, and it's a core staple for a lot of these MMORPGs. What's that old saying I have? If you look good, you play good, right? And ESO does have some cool looking armors, but prior to this, you never had the opportunity to save multiple outfit slots and swap them whenever you want. So this finally came with this update, and that's pretty cool. As for the level up advisor, every time you level up, you'll get a few hints and tips regarding the class that you're currently playing in terms of where to spend your points and what starter builds you should look at, as well as giving new players some rewards too for leveling up, like a weapon or a mount, but it doesn't take away from what existing players or veteran players could already earn in game, so this was just a bonus for new players jumping in. Another new thing that ESO added this calendar year was the addition of housing storage chests, which again is a big plus for me. I think it's safe to say that for me personally and for other players, especially when we're not on the ESO Plus, we definitely on occasion will get frustrated by the crafting bag issue in addition to bank inventory and bag inventory. So with the addition of housing chests that you can purchase via writs or using crowns, you can mitigate your inventory management problem by dumping a lot of these stuff in these housing chests. So that was a nice touch there. Moving on, toward the mid-year, ESO released the Somerset chapter. Now for those that don't play ESO, chapters are sort of the big one. It is the expansion-esque content drop that features more quests, more stories, probably a new progression system or a new class like we saw with the Morrowind chapter last year, which introduced a Warden class. This time around when Somerset hit, there was no new class, but we did get a new skill tree, and that was for the Psijic order. So all players that played through the main Somerset chapter will receive the Psijic skill tree. The chapter also introduced jewelry crafting, so we can finally start crafting our own jewelries instead of having to rely on running dungeons or other form of content trying to get some of the best stuff to drop. As for the story content itself, this chapter is one of my highlights for ESO this year, simply because, at least for me personally, this is where ESO peaked in the game's storytelling content, because it's had years and years and years to build up characters, narrative plots, especially with the whole Daedric thing going on, that started off with the base game content leading into all the DLCs, and then last year's Morrowind chapter, which tacked on more characters, and Somerset just seems to be the icing on the cake, because all of that came into play. You had characters from Morrowind showing up and playing a big role. You had loose ends from the core base game story that got tied up in Somerset too, which was absolutely awesome for those of you that played ESO heavily and know what is going on in this world. The chapter also came with all the usual stuff, your delves, your public dungeons, and the Cloud Rest trial. So on the content side of things, Somerset was a big plus. Now beyond just in-game content, ZeniMax Online Studios also introduced daily rewards with this chapter, Update 18, which follows another MMORPG trend that we see nowadays, which is log in daily, claim your free gift, and at the end of the month you'll get rewarded with something cool. So this was introduced, and having played for the majority of the year, the first couple of weeks when it came to the daily rewards, you weren't going to get some of the best stuff, but they were handy. You'd get fortifying meals, experience scrolls, and then toward the mid of the month you get some cash, which is in-game gold. Alliance points is also one of the things you can earn, and then the good stuff at the end is usually in the form of the crown crates, the thematic crown crates, which are the game's RNG boxes with cosmetics and stuff in there. But overall though, this wasn't a absolute absolutely necessary thing to have, but it's a nice to have feature, and it will play a big part come the end of 2018, whereby all players could receive a DLC for free. And you guys know what DLC I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Murkmire DLC, which hit in October. And by simply playing every day for a month, which is just basically logging in and claiming 20, accumulating 20 daily gift participation, if you would call it, you would earn the Murkmire DLC for free. That was incredibly generous on ZeniMax Online Studios' part, but that seems to be the theme for ESO in general in 2018, and I'll get to that in a second. From the outside looking in, as I've been jumping around playing other games, and every time I look back at ESO and what they're doing from the outside, there's a lot more going on social media, the way the game interacts with its community, the way it positions itself as an Elder Scrolls / MMORPG. It's a real refreshing look at the game from when it first launched in 2014 and 2015, when it was still trying to find its footing. Based on everything that we've gone through right now for ESO, I'd say the game has hit its sweet spot. In between the launch of the Somerset chapter and the next DLC drop, which was the Wolf Hunter Dungeon DLC, ESO also got into this trend of turning on Twitch drops. And for those that don't know what it is or don't use Twitch, Twitch obviously is a game streaming platform where folks can watch their favorite streamer stream a game. And what Twitch drop does is, if you link your ESO account to Twitch or link your ZeniMax or Bethesda account to Twitch, when you watch an ESO stream, you'll have a chance to get some rewards in game. So when ESO turned this on, this was pretty popular. ESO viewership went up in that period, and every content creator that was streaming exclusively ESO content benefited from this, because it just brought the community together. Even though some people may not like the content creator they were watching, they were still getting rewarded for it. So all in all, this marketing ploy for Twitch drops was kind of clever, because it did build some hype around ESO on Twitch. And I'm still surprised now, towards December, not a lot of MMORPGs have gone this way, by garnering some sort of presence on Twitch, whereby turning on these drops, you reward players who watch streams of their games being played with in-game rewards. I think it's pretty clever, and kudos to ESO for really giving this a go. It is one of the few MMORPGs that have been doing this, so I'd like to see this thing continue moving forward. Now back to the DLC, Wolf Hunter, again, 2 new werewolfy dungeons, Moon Hunter Keep and March of Sacrifices. Now usually, and this is just me personally, I see these thematic dungeons as just more content, more dungeon group stuff to run to get new gear sets, or just having more options to get your daily dungeon quests done for the XP. But I actually had a lot of fun in these 2 Wolf Hunter dungeons, because the narrative in here was actually pretty interesting, elaborates more on her scene and all that good stuff. And the fight mechanics, especially on veteran difficulty, I definitely enjoyed more than, say, in Dragon Bones or in any of the base game dungeons. The Wolf Hunter DLC also put out an updated Respec 2.0 system, a major overhaul to the werewolf skill line, and a bunch of new PvP additions and rewards. Next, we come to update 20, Murkmire, which hit 22nd October. This is a slightly bigger content DLC, unlike the other 2 that got released earlier in the year, which were dungeon-focused DLCs. This one brought a new zone to explore, which was Murkmire, has a new main story quest line, a new 4-player arena, the Black Rose Prison, and outside of content in PvP, you've got destructible bridges in Serial, and quality of life improvements to the housing editor, which I had no problems to begin with. I thought it was already cool. So while the Somerset chapter may be my favorite content drop of 2018, Murkmire is a very close second, simply because I had a lot of fun in this DLC exploring more about the Argonians and the adventure that you go on as a player. I found lots of similarities with themes that I enjoy, a dangerous relic that's going to threaten the region, so you put on your Indiana Jones cowboy hat and jump in to save the day with your new companions that you found in Murkmire. Now, even before the DLC hit, we did have a pre-launch event, which was a series of short quests with some dailies involved. It was a little fun way to build the hype and get some rewards even before the DLC hit. So from a content perspective though, 4 major drops, 2 dungeon DLCs, 1 main chapter, and 1 content DLC. All in all, personally, I say again, I think ESO had a good year. I had a good year playing ESO, one of my heavily played games this calendar year. And from a gameplay perspective, 2019 could be interesting for ESO, because I'm trying to figure out what's next, what could really refresh the game or improve the game in multiple aspects. And it's not perfect, by no means is it perfect. I still, in many of my reviews, keep bringing up some core issues that I see happening within ESO, like the power creep, for instance, and perhaps the addition of a new class maybe, because with how class balance changes so much almost with every major content drop, it's not going to be easy to please the player base. So by having more options out there, that could help, but then that's going to be more headache in terms of balancing what there already is versus what's new. Other than that, performance issues, I remember early on in the year, probably before Somerset launched, that one of the updates had significantly increased the server stabilization and lag and all this stuff. And from the reports that I'm hearing from other players and some of the guilds that I've joined and have been kicked out of this year, those issues are still existing for plenty of players. I myself can't confirm because I haven't been PvPing in ESO this year as compared to last. So if you've had experience with that and if that's one area you want to see improved on, let me know in the comments. Now, stepping away from the content a little bit, the last thing that I want to mention here is just the value that ESO continues to give existing players in addition to new players jumping in. This is where I give ESO top marks because they have no reason whatsoever to do this unless their player base is dwindling sharply, which is not the case. I can guarantee you that. So what they've done is towards Q4, at the beginning of Q3 in fact, they announced that improvements are coming to the ESO Plus membership. So everybody used to get 1,500 crowns per month. Well, that has increased to 1,650, and as a subscriber you also get some benefits in the crown store. So you'll get a free item monthly. This could be a cosmetic decoration or an outfit, and you also get discounts on some exclusive stuff, mounts, you name it. So that was nice. And then there's all these community features and events that took place this year. For instance, the Summerfall event, right after the Somerset chapter launch, everybody could take part in this race to get this achievement done, which was exploring key locations in Somerset. And if enough players did this, it would move the bar to its completion, and in every tier everybody got rewards. So it started off with a pet and then went to a mount, and then the final prize was the Grand Sijic Manor, a huge house which would otherwise cost a ton of in-game gold or crowns to buy. But by making it a community event reward, everybody who owned the Somerset chapter got it for free. This was excellent because now everybody can have a house and play with all the decorations, the housing system, the crafting for decor, and you now have a place to put all those extra storage chests that we already talked about. And last but not least, covering so many MMORPGs this calendar year, in the last 24 months alone, The Elder Scrolls Online is one of the top 4 or 5 MMORPGs that have gone on sale the most on Steam for its base game, which this year has bundled in Morrowind as a free chapter, and there's some other bundles as well out there. But I was really quite surprised at looking at the statistics and just watching how often ESO went on sale to attract new players into this buy-to-play MMORPG, no strings attached afterwards. If you want to sub, you sub. If you want to leave the game until the next content drop, sure, you can do so. Whether or not that's clever on their part, or if they have the resources to actually do that, take a few hits, or if they're generating huge amounts of revenue elsewhere, either through the in-game shop or through the ESO Plus membership, we don't have all that stats. The only statistic that we know for sure is that the game has hit 10 million accounts playing ESO. Not subscribers, accounts. The player base is there, but if they feel comfortable enough to give away stuff like the Murkmire DLC for free from the daily rewards, give away Grand Sijic Manors to everyone for completing an event, throwing the game out on sale multiple times a year, these are all signs that I get from the developer that they're at a point where, yep, we launched horribly, we've learned our lesson, and we want to thank the community for sticking around and coming back, and here's our reward to you. We're gonna treat you right. Have some free stuff, have some discounts, just have a good time. That's the general vibe I'm getting from ZeniMax Online Studios, and that's excellent. They should keep up the level of positivity here, and at the same time, while all this outside of the gaming stuff is great, gameplay and content is going to be king. So if they can knock out a few excellent content drops in 2019, in addition to fixing all the core issues that the game currently have, with bugs and lags and performance issues and power creeps and class balances, gameplay designs, and add more refreshing things in 2019, then I'd say ESO will be again in a very good spot in 2019. So that's my thoughts on The Elder Scrolls Online's 2018 for this MMO report card series, which again I state I'll be talking about my daily driver games like ESO and a few others that I've played the most this year to look back on and analyze really if I thought the game had a good year. So in this case, ESO, yep, I think ESO had a pretty damn good year, as I said at the top of the video. So all of you players that are playing ESO or have played ESO this year, What are your thoughts about The Elder Scrolls Online in 2018? Which was your favorite DLC, content drops, updates, tweaks? Name them in the comments section below. I'll see you guys at the next video. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more MMO content. Once again, I'm Adrian, and I thank you for watching. Hey, thanks for watching that video. Welcome to the dreaded end screen. If you want to watch more vids, you can click the cards at the bottom of the screen here and subscribe if you want to. Otherwise, guys, it's the end of the year. Have a great holiday season ahead. Enjoy your Christmas and New Year. I'll see you all when you get back. Take care.